One cold snowy night, a 16-year-old girl named Brittany Snow was alone at home watching television. His parents were away at a dinner party at their friend's house. It had been snowing heavily since the afternoon, but Brittany felt comfortable as she sat on the sofa in the living room, keeping herself warm with the blankets. Until midnight came, Brittany's parents did not come home and she started to get restless. Brittany didn't want to call them, for fear they might think she couldn't take care of herself. The TV is in the corner of the room, right next to the large bay window. Brittany was watching one of her favorite horror movies called Prom Night, but suddenly, out of the corner of her eye, she saw something moving in the window. Through the darkness and the falling snow, he could clearly make out the figure of a man, walking straight towards the window. As the figure got closer, he started to see her face and it filled her with fear. The man's face was full of hideous scars, his eyes were wild and crazy. He grinned evilly at Brittany. Frightened, Brittany tried to hide by pulling the blanket over her head. He didn't want to move at all. Brittany slowly peeked out from under the covers. The man is still there. He just stood there, looking directly at Brittany as the snow fell heavily behind him. The man pulled something out of his coat and it was a long knife. Trembling, Brittany pulled the blanket back up to cover herself and hoped the crazy man would think that it was just a blanket that was placed on the sofa. He then moved slowly, trying to take the cell phone from his pocket. He frantically pressed a button, and started dialing 911. He held his breath as he waited for an answer. When the operator asks what's your complaint, Brittany brought the phone to her face and whispered, "There was a man standing outside my window. He holds a knife. Please come ASAP." He sat without moving an inch as time passed. And finally, he heard sirens outside and police knocking on his front door. Brittany got out of her blankets and rushed to open the front door, letting in 2 policemen. They explained to Brittany that they saw no traces or sign of anyone outside her home. "He's over there," Brittany said, pointing to the window. "That's impossible," replied one of the female officers. "Nobody's ever been standing out there. The snow is not messy in the slightest. If there really is someone out there, they might leave footprints behind. But he was actually standing there, he was staring at me." Brittany said again, "I saw it with my own eyes." "You know your eyes can trick you," said the other male officer. "Maybe you watch too many horror movies." The officers then began to turn away from him. But suddenly, the female officer froze and stopped walking. He then pulled up the couch that Brittany had been sitting on. The officer's mouth and eyes opened wide in shock, as did Brittany and the other officer. They were shocked. On the carpet behind the couch were wet footprints and a long knife. "You didn't see a man out the window, son," said the female officer, "but you saw his reflection. He was standing right behind you all along."